The air in the bamboo grove was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a heavy, organic perfume that clung to the back of my throat. I had come to this secluded spot in rural Japan, just outside the sleepy village of Miyama, on a whim, a desperate attempt to escape the relentless noise of Tokyo and find some peace in nature. My name is Kenji Tanaka, and I'm an office worker on a solo hiking trip, armed with nothing but a worn backpack, a half-empty water bottle, and a growing sense of disillusionment. The initial motivation was simple: to clear my head, to walk until my muscles ached and my thoughts quieted. But as I stepped deeper into the grove, the towering bamboo stalks, some as thick as my thigh, seemed to close in around me, their rustling leaves creating a soft, constant susurrus that should have been soothing. Instead, it felt oppressive, like the forest itself was breathing, watching. My emotional state shifted from weary curiosity to a low hum of anxiety. I kept telling myself it was just the isolation playing tricks on my mind. The path, if you could call it that, was overgrown and faint, barely visible under the thick canopy that blocked out most of the afternoon sun, casting everything in a dim, greenish light. Shadows danced between the stalks, and I found myself glancing over my shoulder more often, my heart rate picking up with each step. It was then that I first heard it, a soft, whispery sound, so faint I almost dismissed it as the wind. But the wind wasn't consistent, this was. It was like someone murmuring just out of earshot, a series of hushed, indistinguishable syllables that seemed to weave through the bamboo. I stopped dead in my tracks, my ears straining, and the whispers paused too, as if in response. A cold shiver ran down my spine, and I laughed it off nervously, muttering to myself about an overactive imagination. I pushed on, my boots crunching on the dry bamboo leaves, but the whispers returned, this time from my left. They weren't loud or threatening, just persistent, a ghostly echo that matched my pace. I tried to rationalize it, maybe it was animals, or the sound of the stalks rubbing together, but the timing felt too deliberate. My senses heightened, every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, sent jolts of adrenaline through me. I started to feel a profound sense of paranoia, the kind that makes you question your own sanity. Was I really hearing this, or was it fatigue and stress manifesting as auditory hallucinations? I pulled out my phone, but there was no signal, no way to call for help or distract myself with music. The isolation was absolute, and the whispers seemed to feed on it, growing slightly louder, more insistent. They followed me, shifting directions as I turned, always just behind or to the side, never in front. I could feel eyes on me, a prickling sensation at the back of my neck that made me whirl around repeatedly, but there was nothing there, just the endless, swaying bamboo. My breathing grew shallow, and I started talking to myself aloud, a coping mechanism to drown out the whispers. "It's nothing, just keep moving, find the way out," I whispered back, but my voice sounded small and pathetic in the vastness of the grove. The psychological terror mounted. I began to imagine shapes in the shadows, fleeting movements that vanished when I focused on them. The whispers took on a mocking tone, as if they were laughing at my fear. I quickened my pace, my heart hammering against my ribs, sweat beading on my forehead despite the cool air. I remembered old folktales my grandmother used to tell, stories of yokai and spirits in places like this, and for the first time, they didn't seem like mere superstitions. The climax came when I stumbled into a small clearing, the bamboo less dense here, allowing a sliver of gray sky to peek through. The whispers grew louder, converging from all sides, a chorus of hushed voices that felt like they were right next to my ears. I spun around, my vision blurring with panic, and for a split second, I thought I saw a pale face peering from between the stalks, a fleeting, human-like visage that dissolved into the shadows. My rational mind screamed that it was a trick of the light, but the fear was visceral, overwhelming. I broke into a run, crashing through the bamboo, not caring about direction, just desperate to escape. The whispers pursued me, a relentless auditory haunting that fueled my flight. I don't know how long I ran, but eventually, I burst out of the grove and onto a dirt road, gasping for air, my body trembling uncontrollably. Looking back, the bamboo stood silent and still, as if nothing had happened. But the experience left me with a deep, lingering unease. I never went back, and to this day, I can't shake the feeling that something in that grove was alive, watching, whispering. The mystery remains unresolved. Was it my mind, or something more? I'll never know, but the whispers haunt my dreams, a chilling reminder of that day in the bamboo.